Tally-ho, chaps. Are we all spiffing today? Oh my. I appear to have forgotten my clothes. Oh well. On to the lesson. Are frame rates getting you down? Are you tired of lagging behind your friends? Keep getting killed by people you can't even see? Don't worry, at Arc Academy, we can help. Here at Arc Academy, we pride ourselves on researching for several whole minutes the best ways to achieve mediocre results. We have been described by I Don't Care magazine as distinctly average, and we have received a whopping no awards, so you know our research can be relied upon. We recently put our most inert scientists to work on finding ways to achieve better performance in Ark Survival Evolved. Here's what they found.
So, what we're looking at is as close to a static image as I could get using admin commands. The time has been set to 10 AM and a spot was chosen where there is a good blend of close, far, sky, trees, ground things, water, blah blah blah. Let's see how we get on. So this is the baseline. Everything is absolutely maximum, cranked, everything on. First thing we're going to be looking at is view distance. That's obviously the most noticeable. You can see immediately all of the sort of the lower lying trees in the distance are gone. The trees off to the right hand side and along the far beach are gone. All of the shrubbery and the log and everything else that's immediately in front of us, that's gone as well. It is, you can still see far off, but not in any meaningful way. It's a bit dull. The world looks a little less alive. Next up, we're going to be looking at post-processing. Now, this requires no explanation. Look at look at it. It looks like the world's gone from being made of real things to being made of plasticine or Play-Doh or some modelling clay or something. It's not pretty. Not when it's on low anyway. Medium or high, maybe not so bad, but damn. Okay, so general shadows, when you put those onto low, you can see really that like around the log, rather than the clumps of the leaves that are being shadowed, it's now just like a blob of shadow. On the far beach, if we look across there, you can see the shadow has gone from there. It's all just now smooth colour. Around the shrubbery on the closest beach, underneath the trees, rather than being sort of more detailed clumps of shadow, again, it's just sort of fuzzy shadow. It's not that bad, in fairness. It's perfectly live-withable at low if you have to. Now we're looking at terrain shadows. You can most noticeably see the beach. The very closest bit, the bottom centre of the screen, you've got like a dark brown sand where the water's clearly been on it, to mildly, you can only see because of the wash line that's there. Same with the far beach, that happens there. But as you would expect, I suppose, shadows on the terrain. This is now textures low. Look at the background mountain. It goes from being textured and like a stone to being like a plasticine model. If you look at the palm trees, you will see that they are a little less shaded, a little less colourful. The trees in the background, they lose like a very small amount of like the depth of colour and the green. So now we're looking at ground clutter density, which again, this pretty much speaks for itself really. If you look at the grass on the closest beach bit to us, with it on, it's there and everything's fine. And you turn that thing to low and boom, it looks like someone's attacked it badly with a lawnmower. It's pretty horrendous, to be honest. I would definitely say at no point do you want that on the lowest setting. Like, always give it some, because that's bad. When you mix in the idea of ground clutter distance as well as density, the two seemingly do the same thing, but they're different, but they work in conjunction with each other. So jiggle those two sliders around until you're happy with the way your front garden looks or something. Moving on to a mesh level. This one isn't the easiest thing to spot if you weren't doing A and B. If you were to just look at it that way, you'd just accept that that's how it looked. But with it on, you can see the trees are almost fluffy, they're well rounded out and in proportion. And then when you turn it off, they sort of get a bit jaggedy, almost like they've been pruned. There's not that much going on, like some trees lose a few leaves, it's not a massive difference. Noticeable enough that it warrants talking about, but not a game breaker. Screen space ambient occlusion. I'm going to turn this off in a minute. You tell me if you can see what's different. It's very hard to see. Boom! Like, oh my god. This is another one of those ones that you don't want it on the lowest unless you enjoy everything in your life to be neon. it's not, yeah, it's not something you want on the lowest setting unless you really like neon, ultraviolet, oh my god type games. I mean, if this is your thing, then great, but not so much for me. Distance field shadowing. This is going to be a lot like the ground shadowing. To look at, it only really affects one thing. This is only going to really affect things that are in the distance. So if we look at those trees, having the shadow in the middle or whatever, it makes it look like it actually gets darker as you walk off into the trees, whereas turning it off, it looks like every individual tree has its own personal light bulb. I mean, it's, I suppose, good if you were looking for creatures in the trees. And finally, for the sake of these examples, we will be looking at light bloom. So for this, I would like to bring the view up to the top left of the screen where the sky is behind the trees. So light bloom on, light bloom off. Adam and Sean leave it off anyway. They don't like it. So whether it's good or bad for their FPS, they don't want it on. Same with me and motion blur, I suppose. But if that's your thing, if you like, I don't know, sort of more glare than not, then go ahead and leave that on. I don't know, I'm alright with it, I don't mind either way, but if you are sort of just a few FPS off target and you don't mind living without it, that's a go-to for the killage.
Okay, so the first graph we've got on screen is the percentage FPS change. As you can see from the graph, there are two different ways of looking at it. You've got going from the minimum, adding settings higher, which is the blue bars, and that's how many FPS you can look to lose. And then you've got the orange bars, which is max everything out and then take things off one at a time. View distance is a bit of a fun one, because if you have lower settings and increase your view distance, you're going to kill your frame rate a lot quicker than if you have high settings and reduce your view distance. So the second graph is just the percentage delta of my computer and Steve's. This is the one from having everything at minimum settings and then adding things as we go. The only reason we're putting this up is to sort of demonstrate how two wildly different computers will react to setting changes in much the same way, at least in this game.
Okay then, so finally, these are the settings I have gone with. As you can see, everything down the left hand side is pretty much maxed out, except for post-processing, which I've dropped down from epic to high, so it's only one notch away from maximum. Here, it's not quite maxed out, but near as damn it, you know? Got these three sliders cranked, that's on. I don't have motion blur on because I don't like it. I don't have film grain on because I don't like it. Distant field ambient occlusion for the difference it makes versus the impact performance, and no. Screen space ambient occlusion, yours. Dynamic tessellation at the moment doesn't seem to work whether you tick it, whether you don't. The game starts with it off every time anyway. Distance field shadowing is not. In the examples I clearly showed that it looks better with it on, but with general shadows on epic and that turned off, it's a good balance between shadows in the trees, as you can see with, you know, so yeah, that's that. High quality materials, subsurface scattering and high quality VFX just on. I'd turn them on the first time and just leave them on, to be honest, but whatever. Simple distance character movement, I can't work out whether that's good or bad. Sean's got it on, I've got it off. We'll wait and see what happens with that. Got that on. Color grading is on. Without it, it is like such a little difference, and my frame rate doesn't actually change really, so I'll leave that on. Light bloom off because I don't like it. Light shafts on, and so on and so forth. The rest of it's mostly like flavour, so yeah. We'll hopefully be doing more of these as time goes by, so if there's anything you want us to look at, either leave it in the comments or hit us up on Twitter or Facebook or something saying, you know, this is what I'm wondering, blah blah blah, and then we can take the time to research it and do all the geeky crap like making slides and whatever else for your amusement. You can't tell your view distance from your sky, like proper clear. You can't tell your view distance from your sky quality. Like, I love that accent though. And worry not, buddy, because we got you covered. You know, I love that accent. Like, your frame rate is getting you down, man. Can you not be telling your view distance from your sky quality? Your frame rates get you down. You buy graphics card. The problem goes away. You call Bratva. We shoot it. Adam Jensen. Your frame rate's getting you down.
There's a reason I got a beer. Okay. A frame rate's getting you down. Have you been... Oh, fuck's sake, I already fucked it up. I'll my silences, damn it! Okay, you ready? Are your frame rates getting you down? Are frame rates getting you down? Are you tired of lagging behind your friends? Keep getting killed by people you can't even see? Don't worry, at Arc Academy we can help.